that I made a while back. And it was something on the lines of, along the lines of, it was from a black man. Like, how did you not end up with hate in your heart like white people do? Because the video is the most viral one I've ever done. And I answered him about myself. And then, I've been thinking, and what I've always known to be true. It got me thinking about Nolan Wells, about all the lynchings that are going on, about, all of this stuff, and how that can possibly still be happening. And yet it is on a massive scale. And what it comes down to is jealousy. These white nationalist, racist people are so jealous of black people. And I can hear them already coming from the South. I live in California. I can already hear them coming in the comments. No, we're not. Yeah, you are. Like, that's what this all comes from, because it doesn't make any sense. I hate people. There are a few. The president, for one, the entire administration, all of Epstein files. They've done the most horrific things that anyone can possibly imagine. And I would never hang them. Myself just out of nowhere. I would want justice. I would want to see them guilty. But for anybody to think that this is only based on hatred, it's the hatred of themselves, not of the black community. It's literally of themselves. They're so deeply jealous that they have to resort to the most extreme violence. They're jealous of the fact that white, especially particularly in the South, white America, white everything, the system, all of it, has not broken the spirit of the black community.
And that right there is why I wanted to do the video. She's speaking some facts. Our brother had put this up. Which brother is this again? Oh yeah, Arrows of Indignation. It says, "How does it feel, Esau, for your own woman turning against you?" Something like that. Well, that right, she said right there, that was that right there. What came out her mouth, that was it. And because you have to understand our history as a people. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. This is why we make the statements that we make. Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We know Esau and his descendants is jealous over our blessing. We all know the Lord passed him by. Was it 2 Ezra 3:16 tells you that? When he passed by, he didn't consider him at all. This whole thing is about Jacob and Esau. It's about that one major blessing. With that blessing, the character of what we are as a people is built in there. And that one thing she just said, no matter what they did to, she's gonna mention blacks, but we tell the truth. The blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, no matter what was done unto the Lord's chosen people, the most horrific crimes in human history, the most, which everybody agreed, everybody literally agreed, made to that statement, except for Israel, the Israelis, United States, and Argentina. Those are the only ones that didn't make that agreement. But everybody knows what happened to our people is the most devastating thing. But we add the other tribes in there because they were all a part of it. Before the transatlantic slave trade, there was a great genocide of the natives on this side, which were the children of Israel. And no matter what they did unto these people, all the atrocities, all the evil deeds that they have done unto the Lord's chosen, they couldn't break us. They couldn't. Uh, Fauci, it's just a dog and pony show. He's going to Congress and they asking him 1,000,001 questions, which they all know the answers to, and nobody's gonna get arrested. It's just all play. It was just all a play. But even in that little play that they're doing, there's truth behind it. They ask certain questions and he will not answer it. Because at the end of the day, who was the main target of the C-19 pandemic? The Lord's chosen people. They deliberately said it the way we say it. The blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are easier to catch the disease and die, blah, 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 blah. They easily said that. They literally said that. So the resilience that the Lord put upon us is what stick hard, no matter what. And it's a blessing and a curse because through the stubbornness of our people, no matter what they go through, they remain whatever course that they are in. But when they're in righteousness, you can't stop them. Okay? I'm gonna let it play a little bit.
Although not even yet. And in spite of that, the spirit has gotten stronger.
And that's the facts. Despite of all the stuff that they have done unto us as a people, the spirit has gotten stronger because they cannot destroy that was not made to be destroyed. You have Jake that go out there cry like, "Oh, why did God do this to us?" Blah blah blah, and they'll bring out all the atrocities that took place, but they forget the most important part: we still around, and we're never going anywhere. All right. If you really analyze it and think about it in a world point of view of a hero getting chopped up in many pieces and mutilated and destroyed several times over, and yet he still come back stronger. And what proves that we stronger now? The Spirit of the Lord. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. I was gonna start with something different, but the Spirit of the Lord. That's what showed our true strength. All right. Matter of fact, I gotta go into it. Revelations 11:8. It says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city." What is that great city? It's talking about here in America. What is the dead bodies? Is it talking about physical bodies? No, it's talking about spiritually dead people. Ezekiel the 37th chapter, Proverbs, I believe it's 19, but it speaks of those that um, get away from understandings in the congregation of the dead. So our people out there spiritually dead because they don't know who the hell they are. And that great city is Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay? This is where we are in a hell of a confused state. And it says, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, which is quite obvious, is what is being pushed out there. It's nasty out here, boy. Is it nasty? It's filthy. All right. It's a filthy world we in. The sexual immorality that is being pushed, the hypersexual activity, this all sorts of madness is coming out of this shit, and it's pushing the Lord's people. Like I stated, once we do something, we go all in. So if we're hard headed, we're gonna be hard headed to the end. And that's part of the resiliency as a catch-22. When our people are wicked, they're wicked. But when our people are righteous, oh, they are righteous. And this environment is cultivated for our downfall. Is meant for us to go off. That's why it's spiritually called Sodom. Because all the homosexuality, all the things that is accepted in the society, which shouldn't be accepted. All right. Egypt, because we was in captivity, and we're in captivity again. It says where also our Lord was crucified. Did our Lord physically crucified in this world? No. His image, his everything about him was crucified in this world, in his side. And it says, and they of the people and the kindreds and tongues and nations shall see the dead bodies 3 days and a half, and suffer not that and suffer that and suffer not that dead bodies be put in the grave, meaning give us rest. 3 days and a half is 350 years. So 1619, prior to 1619, it was a whole bunch of atrocities that was taking place in the shores of the Americas. But the bulk of everything, everybody coming together when by force, that's when 1619 came about. From 1619 to the 1960s, there was an awakening taking place. That awakening was the calling that was for the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, the special force of the Lord's great and wonderful government. All right, that was the calling. And it says, and these nations didn't allow us to know anything. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth, which was in the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The rejoicing was the transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade wasn't just spices for human cargo. It was people from this part of the world and from the other side of part of the world being transported as goods. All right, that was the true history. That truly happened. No matter how they try to slice it, and that right there was supposed to break us. Period. To see your loved ones being taken from you and thrown amiss. You have an entire family, and your family's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth right before your eyes. You being broken in half. These are things that destroys people. But the resiliency is what was embedded in us. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Why was it great fear? Because they literally thought. Psalms 83rd chapter tells you all the nations that got together to ensure that our existence did not exist no more. That wasn't a light thing. These world conferences, this is when the nations actually got along, when it was about taking us down as a people. All right, that was truly what was happening. So now we know the history, we know what's going on. Where did it come from? What was this this thing that is so strong within us? Well, that was part of the Lord's plan. Uh, Genesis 32 and 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And if you ever wrestle, you could barely wrestle a few minutes, let alone an hour. Like if you watch what was it? What year was that? Damn, I'm a wrestling fanatic. But there was a match, an Iron Man match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and it was like over an hour and change. And you could see these guys were exhausted. You know, it was a mix. It wasn't just a straight up tussle. You know, it was mixed. It was wrestling, acrobatics. It was, all forms of thing. But this wasn't no acrobatic stuff. This is real men on men tussling for until daybreak. Okay, hours. Wasn't an ordinary. This wasn't ordinary. All right. It says, and when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of the joint as he wrestled with him. And who is he is talking about? We're talking about an angel. So Jacob, our forefather, wrestled an angel. All right. Did it say who it was? It didn't say who it was, but he wrestled an angel. It says, and he said, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let thee, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me." So Jacob asked for a blessing. He said, "No, I'm not letting you go. All right, until you bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince has thou power with the Most High and with men, and prevailed and has prevailed." So right here, the true essence of our spirit, all right, it was right here. Okay, Jacob does not mean he who wrestles an angel. It literally means he son of the son of the kings. He's the son of God, loosely translated. All right, the prince Yasha Allah. He is the prince of the power, and the attributes that the Lord coined it with Jacob was that he wrestled an angel, and he said, "You the power that you have is with the Most High and with man, and prevail." So there ain't no man on earth or nation on earth that can literally take us down. If an angel couldn't take us down, right? How can man take us down? An angel, they sons of the Most High. So the resiliency was born right there, right there. All right. And it says, and Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, Wherefore is it that thou askest after my name? And he blessed him there. He's like, "Look, my name is not important. What you did is what the resiliency of the Lord, the Lord, yes, the descendants is gonna have." And what that woman said was true. Is the jealousy of the other nations, that even in their jealousy, that they could not prevail against us. They could not finish the mission. And this is their last stretch. This is the last hurrah. The devil coming down having great wrath, because he knows that he have a short time. All right. And guess what? He's not going to win. The jealousy is real. Let me see if I can remember where specifically this um is in Ezekiel. Let's see if I can remember. I haven't read it in a while. Let me just type it in. Ezekiel 17. Ezekiel 17. No, 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 no. Supposed to be Okay. I don't know. I know it's Ezekiel. The trees. I just can't remember. Nope, that's not it. Let me type in Slovakia. Approval points. Bows, I believe. I haven't read it in a while. Ezekiel. Maybe it's 35. All right. Yes, it is 35. Ezekiel 35 and 4. The waters made him great. The deep set up on high, but with high rivers running around, running round about his plants, set out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he had shot forth. Now, let me. I know exactly where I'm going at. Okay, so I'm gonna get the precept a little bit later. Let me see. It says, "Thus was he fair in greatness and length of his branch, but his root was by great waters." And this actually, I want scripture to back that up is Psalms, the first chapter, about the last verse. Let me get that real quick, just to prove something. Psalms 1 and sorry, they gotta go up. It is 3, and it says Psalms 1 and 3, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he have prospered, he doeth, he shall prosper. It's talking about a man. Matter of fact, I gotta go up. Psalms 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season, meaning he's well nourished. All right. And it says, his leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth he shall prosper. Precept to that. Joshua, another classic, 1, and I believe it's to the point 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein at night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. But then shall thou make thy way prosperous, and when thou shalt have good success. So those that apply the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is like a tree likened near a river. All right, always nourish. Now going back to this, there's a reason for this. So now it's explaining that the tree was his length was above all. It says the cedar, going back to Ezekiel 38, 35, and 8. The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. The fair trees were not like his boughs, and his chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty, which goes back into what? Goes back into Adam. All right, when he tried to be of the with the other nations, because it was more than one nation of people that was then in the garden. All right, and him and Eve tried to hide, try to dress, try to be like them, and they always stuck out. It says, and I made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden they were in the garden of the Most High envied him. Okay, so what did that woman just make mention of? She said all the things that these Edomites have done was out of envy, jealousy. Sorry, she said jealousy. And no matter what they did unto us, they couldn't finish the job. Like we're resilient, right? So we come from that stock of Adam. We come from the stock of Jacob. We come from great stock. All right. No matter what they try to do, they could not get rid of us. They could not do away with us. Okay. Even at our worst point, we shine. Hey, Yahweh Shai said it the best. He said, "You are the salt of the earth." Oh, brother has sent it in the chat. There's 12 different, I believe 12 different salts. 12 different salts. Okay. Hey, can't make this thing up, man. Can't make this up. And all these different salts are good for you. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he has shoot forth his top among the thick bows in his heart. He is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. Don't that sound familiar? All right. That's what the Lord did to Israel. Okay. Real quick. I mean, that's it for that one. Just had it. Isaiah 1:9. That's at 13. It says, bring no more vain oblation. Incest is an abomination unto me. The new moons and the Sabbath, the calling of the assemblies, I cannot away with it. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moon and the appointed feast, my soul hateth, that I said they are trouble unto me. I'm worried to bear them. And when ye shall spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, you when ye make many prayers, and when I hear your hands are full of blood. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings, for before mine eyes cease to do evil. Talking about Israel, he's talking to Israel. Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the window. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as a scarlet, as a sun, like so These are signs that the Lord, he sees when Israel go off. All right. They shall be as white as snow, though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. So the Lord, like, look, he cast us off of off of the land because why? We got too high to ourselves. I'm not gonna get it. It says Jeremiah the second chapter is the Lord said, has have I been a wilderness unto you? Which the answer to that is no. The Lord always provided, but our people got big headed. That's why the Lord punished us. Okay? He punished us to destroy us. It tells you in Baruch, the fourth chapter, it wasn't for our destruction, because he created us in a way that we could never be destroyed by by man. All right? They could take billions of us and we still will be alive. The Lord have put a resilient spirit on his people. Okay? And the nations are jealous of that. They always been. Deuteronomy 4, 3 or 4. No, let's go straight to the point. Behold, I have taught 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord thy power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. Why? Because we're different from the rest of them. And what was going to be the difference between us and them? It wasn't just a physical attribute. It was the laws that was granted. We was given a special audience to know how things really supposed to run in the world of the Lord. And nations they was going to be jealous over us. All right. It says, keep therefore, do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon for him? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? So this is what made us different. This is what made us stand out. That's why the Lord said they should know you are my disciples is the way you treat one another. So there was many physical and spiritual things that we would do that made us different from the rest. And they hate us. They envy us for that. And they try their damnedest to take us out, but they can't do it. All right? They can't do it. I'm going to last scripture. Jeremiah 30. It's not because we're special. Well, we are special. It was created to be special. That's the difference. All right? Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. All thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee. Because why? We were sick. When you go against the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you are sick. So we've been sick in the mind. We've been going off. And the environment that they put us in keeps us sick. All right. We're We're at dis-ease in this society. The saying is to live, you must live a stress-free life, which is humanly impossible. So I will restore health unto thee. I will heal thee of thy wounds. Because what? Well, it says, save the Lord. Because, no, oh, when you read, the Lord said he had wounded us as the wound of an enemy. Oh, it's right here in the same chapter. Got to go up. As an enemy. So despite we special, despite all these things, it seemed like the Lord was going to utterly get rid of us, which anybody else probably would not resist, would not exist. All right. But we're special. We stand out because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. Meaning nobody's gonna come and take us out. Once we're established, once the kingdom of heaven is established, we are never going to be moved again. And then Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, that verse I just read, that's when the nation is going to like, oh, this is how it was supposed to be done. This is the nation that was supposed to teach us. Okay? And it says, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few, and I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and a congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Can't get around that. The nations cannot make it. The nations, they will not make it. They're not going to be beamed up in the chariots, salvation. They're not going to be crowned. They're just going to be servants. They will be punished for what they did to the Lord's people. Point blank, period. Can't get around it. Why? Because we're a special people until Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And he did not do all these things to destroy us. He did this for punishment. And the punishment is almost over. The cycle is almost done. Lesson learned. And when the lesson learned, the punishment is said and done. All it takes is the Father to send forth the Son. Go and get your brothers and your sisters, and that's that. The kingdom of heaven, his kingdom. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.